Welcome back, travelers, to Chapter 10 of Django Wexler's The Gathering Storm. One thing that I've noticed about this series is that it is aware that each chapter is coming out at a different point in the week. Like, each week there's a different episode, basically. And as a result, it constantly tries to reinforce, okay, it's raining. It's constantly raining. It's just like this oppressive rain that's crushing and smothering out everything else in the world. Even here, where you have Ralzarek, obviously he's the rain mage, so he can just make the water go away, but it's still, he's still wet. That's how much rain there is the backsplash from all the droplets around him. Anyways, he actually gets to the guild hall, and it's real. This entire chapter is so informative. It reveals so much about the different characters, a lot of the interactions, it explains a lot, and there are some subtle things that I think are really, really cool that I'll get into now. Obviously, you have Asperia. Asperia is on the center, the dais of the Senate kind of Greek-ish, the Greco-Roman kind of design for the room. It's an oratorium basically, and Dovenbon naturally is there, and he's still basically just her right hand, but he's there, and he's just this thing, a fixture in the room, which is very Dovenbon. But at this point, if you had not read the first book, the War of the Spark book, and you did not see the cards, which don't necessarily show off how Doven's allegiances are, I feel like this would be a really great way to showcase his character. This would have been a great reintroduction since he was in Kaladesh, but a great reintroduction to who Doven is. Because if it had just gone straight from Kaladesh to this, you wouldn't actually know if he had turned a new leaf, if maybe he just tried to find a place where he felt at home. You wouldn't be able to get that. You would have to try and parse it. And that's one of the things I liked about this. And there's a huge hint, obviously, to his true allegiances later in this particular chapter. So, Borborygmus, Aurelia, even Lazav, who's there, and he's got this he's very shifty. It's great. All the guild masters or the representatives, such as Hakara and Amara, they're both there. They're all there, and they're all okay, you know what? Let's have this conversation. Let's talk. And so everybody starts talking and immediately starts arguing because all the guilds are at there's so much tension between the guilds right now. It's the worst. Borborygmus, the only reason he's there is because Niv Mizzet called in an old favor, and Borborygmus, as a result, is aware he's going to get challenged. He knows that he's in trouble because he came to this thing, because he was like, okay, yeah, let's cooperate with the other 9 guilds. The thing that Anarchy Guild is supposed to not do. Ral starts talking after Asperia is talking. They're all trying to communicate, and Kaya and Vraska are there. They're like, yeah, he's not a good guy. You don't want to work with Bolas. You want to fight him. You want to make sure that you're all united for this. And they're like, me. And then Niv Mizzet shows up, and he's like, so. And so Niv Mizzet shows up, and he's there, and he tells them, okay, guys, look, this is what we need to do. This is this, and this, and that, and that. Jace isn't coming back. Probably the guild pack needs a new leader. I'm going to become the guild pack. They're like, you're an Azet, though. You're literally the Niv Mizzet of the Azet. He's like, yeah, but I won't be Azet once I become the guild pack. And they're like, right. This is exactly the kind of thing that we don't want happening. We don't want one of the 10 guilds becoming more powerful than all the others. Despite Niv Mizzet showing up, everybody still is kind of on the fence about this thing, especially the Simic guys that kind of just appeared and don't really have any kind of connection. I'm hoping, they didn't say it, but I was kind of hoping that the guy that was showing up for the Simic was actually Roalesque, since he hasn't had any kind of appearance in the actual thing, in the storyline. But that's probably not going to be mentioned at all. The point is that all these characters are there, and they go and they sleep in the towers of the Azorius. And even Vraska's there, and Vraska's like, I hate this place. All these people are writing laws like crazy, and they don't even think about what the effects of those laws are. It's a great example of one of the major downsides to White Blue's philosophy is that you may have the system, you may have everything on paper, but the actual physical ramifications of what you do can vary greatly due to the chaos that is life. And so she's kind of there, and she's like, well, she's green-black, and they're white-blue, and just like that clash that's there between the two of them is very evident, and she's basically laying down. She gets the message, go to the guild hall, there's no guards, and she's like, cool, okay. and inside is, of course, Asperia. Asperia does not say that she summoned her. Asperia is like, oh, you're awake. And Frost is like, yes, I am awake. And obviously that note was left by Bolas, or one of his agents. So that means that Vraska was sent there specifically to talk to Asperia, and it's here that we get this huge, like, it's, from my perspective, Vraska had a very cathartic moment. She was able to get in the face of the person who caused her so much pain and suffering and caused her spark to ignite, and tell her all the things she hated, all the things that she had to endure. And Asperia's only reaction is like, yes, it was regrettable. It could have been handled differently. But I signed that law and I stand by my decision. And Vraska's like, cool. And then she turns to stone. Vraska runs away. Of course she runs away, right? So she leaves, and Dovin Bond is at the gate of the door of that guild hall where Asperia was just killed. And he's like, oh my, I don't know what happened. The door is locked. It's crazy. And so basically Dovin Bond is stalling. He's making sure that all the guild members are there to witness the big reveal of Asperia having been turned to stone by Vraska. And so Dovin's basically just like waiting him out. He's like, oh gasp, she's been turned to stone. Whatever shall we do? Please everyone, don't run away for your own safety. We can figure this out. And so everyone basically just flees. And it's like that moment is really good. If you already know Dovin is a bad guy, you know, okay, yeah, he obviously knows what's going on. He's just like rolling with it. An important aspect of Dovin's character is that you never see him lose his cool. And that's one of the, that's the biggest weakness, I'd say, of the white-blue character type, is that they eventually will lose their cool if you push and push and push until they snap. The breaking point for a white-blue character basically means that all the things they've been holding back, all the things they've been controlling, suddenly burst forth. So we could have a very, very powerful Dovin's Rage kind of thing happening at some point in the future. But at this point, Dovin is completely in control, and he's just there, kind of like, yeah, that's really bad. Sorry, Raoul. Sorry, Niv. I guess it's not going to happen. I guess it's not going to be a guy that can stop Bolas. That's really bad, isn't it? Oh, no. And so that's Dovin Bond. Even though the plan failed, even though the Guild Pact didn't get turned into Niv Mizzet, or Niv Mizzet got turned into the Guild Pact, Raoul is there with Hekara, and he's like, you know what? We're not done yet. There's still a chance. And what's cool is that Lazav is like, hey, I'm on your side. Me and you, we're best friends. It's going to be great. It's going to be the best. And I find that really cool, because out of all the guilds, after all the guilds have basically given up, Dovin Bond obviously is going to take control of the Azorius Guild, so they lost them. Aurelia is going to go fortify and get ready for the Bolas attack. Everyone else left. The only colors left are the Blue-Red Guild, the Black-Blue Guild, and the Red-Black Guild. Meaning that out of the three guilds that are still like part of the unified front against Bolas are the Bolas-colored guilds. I love that. That is the best thing to me. Just the fact that it is Bolas' own colors that are there to stop Bolas. And Raoul has a new idea that involves the implicit maze. That's how this chapter ends, with a big reveal that has not been mentioned in the books. There's been no mention of the implicit maze getting reused for this next plot. Obviously that must mean it fails, but the fact that they tried it, that's really cool. And it also explains why they basically went all the way to Plan D for desperation after all the other things failed. That means that obviously the beacon failed, which was Plan B. The turning him into a guild pact failed, which was supposed to be Plan A. So I guess he just jumped straight to Plan C. The point is, I'm really, really looking forward to what the next chapter has in store for us. And I will be seeing you guys then. Before I go, I would like to say that this is going to be one of Before I go, I would like to say that this particular series is going to continue throughout the next few weeks, and until its completion, of course, and that at the end of every other month there will be a color test results video, such as the next one up is Azorius, which is part of the reason why I was saying so much specifically about the Azorius. I've been working on that. But the main thing is that those are going to continue indefinitely until we run out of things to put the video out on. But as far as the video gameplay stuff goes, that's going to go on hold for a while. And the War of the Spark Chunks, not really feeling them right now, but maybe later. Until then, travel well.